The Absentee by Maria Edgeworth, with Stephen Ray as Lord Colambre and Anna Healy as Grace Nugent.
Good evening to you, Mr. Brady. I trust to find you in the very best of health.
You do, sir. And you, Mr. Whip. It's a grand evening for whatever brings you out to the opera, sir.
Is your master in the house?
Where fashion goes, sure he's sure enough to be.
Counting his victims, is he?
Clients is what he pleases to call them.
And we know better. Any man in debt to Mr. Mordecai is on a slippery slope indeed.
Then half London's on that slope. Sure doesn't he have notes of credit, bills and billies by the score? Enough to paper a room with. Your man's in his pocket by the looks of things.
My lord's driven to it, Mr. Brady, by a wife determined to find her way amongst the ton.
Oh, Lord Colambre will need to dig into his father's pocket, no doubt at all. He'll have to cut a dash, never a doubt of that. And Mordecai will hold the bills and the IOUs. Beware him, Mr. Whipsor. He's a cruel, hard man of it when he bites.
Lady Langdale's carriage! Forward, Lady Langdale's carriage!
I wish you good night, sir.
Mind what I tell you, friend. My master's a devil when it comes to squeezing what he's owed from any man. Good night, Mr. Whip.
I ought to be at Lady Clonbrony's gala next week, Mrs. Derville. I swear the whole of London has an invitation.
No doubt it has, Lady Langdale. The question is, will it go?
So you won't be coming to the gala, Mrs. Derville?
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
They don't even hide their feelings, Miss Nugent, nor even try to.
They're not worthy of anger, my lord, truly.
But Mother must be told. I lay awake all night hearing those foul women's voices. Seeing their patched and powdered faces, she must be told.
That would be even crueler than those women are. Your mother's best left in ignorance, sir.
Do they always mock her so? Who are they, Miss Nugent?
I try to make her see, but she will not. Your mother will move heaven and earth to have them at her gala.
Is she blind or deaf?
She is eager to be accepted as one of them, as a judge of fashion. It's partly for your sake, my lord.
No, nothing to do with me. Nothing.
She believes if you were to make your way in the world, you need to be a part of that set.
Do you?
Aye, my lord. My opinion is not asked.
Then I ask it. Did you enjoy yourself last night?
I'm used to it. Your mother does not hear nor see these people for what they are. She has only one ambition, to have them as her friends.
My father. Does he?
No, your father misses home. He talks to me of Clonbrony Castle and the village.
You miss it too?
Yes, I do. But your mother will not even hear of Ireland.
I heard that Lady Langdale, was it, talks of absentees with special malice. I have never hidden from my friends the fact that my title, my land and my duty all lie in Ireland. No one mocked me for it.
Nor would they mock your mother for it. They mock her for her denial of it. Those who mock you for love of your home can hardly be accounted friends, can they? They might as well pour scorn on their own.
Miss Nugent, that seems very wise.
Do your English friends leave their estates from one year to the next? Do they?
You do not feel as my mother does about Ireland?
It is not my place to feel or otherwise about anywhere, sir. I have a place, and am grateful to your mother for that.
I have a friend coming to town. He tells me he comes from his home in Cambridgeshire reluctantly. I promised him dances and cards and music.
Is that what he wants?
He wants nothing but good company. I shall introduce him to you, if I may.
Only if he is good company, my lord. Good morning, cousin.
Hey! Annie Brady. Is he about just now?
Ara, my master is not to be disturbed just now. Who will I say called?
That's enough of that, you cock-bred son
A
of
fine woman, sir, my mother, Sir Terence. And isn't Mr. Mordecai in a fearful bad mood this morning, sir?
I was come to bring him some business in the coach building sort of a way.
And isn't he looking for work in a money changing sort of a way? So Put the long finger on a visit is my advice.
Did you hear any more about his intentions for my good friend?
That's a word about Lord Clonbrony. Won't I tell you when I hear it whisper?
I'll see all right should you pass the word, Paddy.
And would I take your money, even if you had any to bless yourself with?
Aye, that's his game. To buy up his IOUs for a song, put them all together, and then face the Lordine with them and ruination.
It's what he's done to plenty more. I thank God I haven't the money nor the expectations to borrow so much as a farthing off Mr. Mordecai, and that's the truth.
I'll just pass the time of day with
Oh,
himself.
suit yourself, Sir Terence. I've work to do. A curricle to mend and a harness to make. Good day to you, sir.
God's teeth, but he's the cunning one as Mordecai. But Sir Terence knows a game or two yet. We'll not let him sink an old friend. Won't I get the promise of the debts first, and best him so? We'll go and see the old joxer then.
The curricle was bought by my friend Mr. Beryl off you, sir.
Was it indeed?
As you well know. You warranted it free of all labour for repairs for 6 months.
My partner may have, not I. Sir.
It broke in 3 months. Mr. Beryl brought it back on the instant and has heard nothing since. It lies in your yard. I have seen it, sir.
Mr. Beryl, a friend of yours?
I promised him when he came back to London I would see it was ready for him.
He was told the cost.
You promised.
No pay, no work.
Mordecai, my good fellow, how are you now? Excuse me, sir.
I have not finished.
You have quite finished.
I must ask you to leave us while we do our business.
We have no business. Sir Terence and I are friends, and not in the way of business. Am I right, Sir Terence?
It seems he has finished, sir. You promised a suicide, swore to be ready. By all the saints, good or bad, where is it?
You gave your bond, sir, to Mr. Beryl.
Don't talk to Mordecai of bonds.
Take his advice, my boy. Now let us have the suicide by my birthday.
I demand satisfaction.
My advice, sir.
Is not needed, sir.
Demand away, young sir, demand away. I'll take dinner off you next Monday, Sir Terence, at the Hibernian Hotel, and the suicide shall be finished by your birthday.
Ah, a promise. There now. You may have him, young man, unless he slip away.
If he slip away, it shall be the law. Good day to you, sir.
Good day.
The law. By all means, my young sir, go to the law. Mordecai knows his lord as well as any man. Go to it. It has a habit of biting the biter. Is it written down?
You said it would be repaired.
Go away, young man. Brady?
Mr. Mordecai, sir, did you tell Sir Terence O'Fay I was to begin work on his suicide? And him without a penny to call his own, sir?
Let him run deeper, my friend. He'll dip till he can dip no further, and then I'll have him and his principles in my hands. I'll squeeze him then.
I want justice!
You'll know Sir Terence to have a way with bailiffs, sir. Didn't he have them and the sheriff's men after him in Dublin? And left the city in the guise of a priest, and another time as a washerwoman, no less. He's the most managing trickster, sir, for the evading of duns and similar cattle. In short, in making money in a way to make an angel blush to watch it.
We will see how he fares with English law, not Irish. It's always a pleasure to call in the debt.
Sir!
Still here, sir? Go away out of my yard.
I warn you!
Oh, warn is it? Warn indeed. Paddy, I'll break O'Fay and his principles, mark me if I don't. They'll not raise enough from their rents in Ireland to cover the first charge on them, and so ruin. They'll pay or be crushed. Green and Blancham, Grey, Soho, Lady Marchmain and her fool of a son, and to my certain knowledge, Lord Clonbrony shall...
Sir! Stop! Stop, sir! I am his son, sir.
His son?
God bless us in every bone in his body for an Irishman. There's something to warm a man, indeed.
You told me a friend of Mr. Beryl?
Both, sir. I'll talk with my lawyer, Mordecai, not you.
No lawyers, sir. No need. Since he is a friend of yours, a compromise. Justice, I think you said. Well, we can adjust a little, make allowances a little, cut a little. Say 20 guineas and the curricle as good as new in a week.
Very well. In a week.
So many who are not gentlemen, sir. My error. Acknowledged. Apologies.
I trust my note for 20 is good enough. Good day, sir.
Did he know what we were talking of, Paddy? That boy?
Never heard a word at all, I'll warrant.
A fool to threaten Mordecai with the law. I'll see him jump.
Sir Terence, sir. Oh, here's luck indeed, and me looking for you.
News, is it?
Didn't the old jockster have a run-in with the boy? Colambre, is it? Swore he'd make him crawl. He's going to begin to buy in his debt, Sir Terry, and all the rest. And it'll all end in grief.
Did you see the boy?
You saw him yourself, sir, when you were after getting your suicide made up. Him, sir.
Well, I like the cut of him, too.
An Irishman to his bootstraps. I thought I'd not see him done down by such as Mordecai.
Will you take a drink off me, Paddy?
And would I take money for doing a turn for an Irishman? I would not. There's a cove in Whitechapel has the main debt of the old lord, unless you get there first and hold him off.
I'm obliged indeed, Pat. Here, take the wet, at least for saving an old man from ruination. Good day to you.
Dear Colambre, let me entreat you not to neglect Miss Broadhurst tonight at the gala. The family come here chiefly on your account.
I shall neglect no guests, Mother, but I will not pretend what I do not feel.
Miss Broadhurst is everything except a beauty.
Mother, Miss Nugent will think I can see no further than a handsome face.
Miss Broadhurst is kind, clever and fair. She reads widely, is witty, generous to her friends. If she has a fault, it's one you will approve. She says what she feels to be the truth.
I had no notion Miss Broadhurst was a friend, Miss Nugent. I beg your pardon.
Since she is my friend, I will praise her no more until you begin to praise her to me.
It will be expected, my boy, that you will show particular attention
Mother,
to Miss...
I cannot. I will not. You have been raising expectations where there is none, talking in what you call society. Yes?
I only said that we would be happy.
I cannot, will not be dragooned into a false position. It would not be fair to the lady or myself. Father, please tell Mother that I will not be expected to give up my liberty to choose, my freedom to bestow affection where I would bestow it.
Colambre, your father has no interest.
On the contrary, my boy, your mother takes such things to heart, perhaps.
I only wish you to make a good match. I see no merit in penury.
Penury? My father is hardly a poor man. I inherit more than poverty when I come of age. I will not marry an heiress to cut a figure in London society. I cannot do it, Father. If she is dressed in diamonds one day and sapphires the next, I will not do it.
Perhaps, cousin, she will not either.
Well said indeed, dear child. Yes, a wise head on young shoulders.
And how shall we afford another season without a good marriage?
To cut the figure you would cut, my dear, costs more than I can manage. I would not care if London was sunk in the salt sea. Little Dublin for my money, says I.
I will not, sir. Grace, come.
Well, good morning to your Grace. Your ladyship and Miss Nugent, I declare a picture of loveliness to suit her name. And you, sir, Lord Colambre, is it not? We had the pleasure of a word or two at a mutual friend's this morning in the way of a little business.
Terry, will you be still, sir?
Grace, come along.
Now, don't let me chase you away from your own tea table, my lady. Is there a drop of tea in the pot for a thirsty man as has had a wild morning of it indeed?
You've met Sir Terence, my boy?
Yes, Father, right.
Oh, spit it out, sir.
It was at Mordecai's.
Indeed.
I was settling a matter for Arthur Beryl, who comes to town this afternoon. A matter of a debt owed him by that man. He said something, Father, about...
the weather it was, and how fine a particular livery looked. Was it not, my lord?
It was not, sir. It had to do with money. Debts. Your name was mentioned, Father.
In passing only. Well, to tell the truth and make the angels blush, not exactly in passing. Weren't you educated in England, sir, at Cambridge?
I was.
Indeed, and that not a fitting education for such matters as Mordecai disposes of. I had mine in Dublin and no harm come to me. Wasn't I studying for the church one time, but that went away from me. Sic transit gloria... you only remember what's of use in your life. Now that's the truth. Didn't you mention the law to Mordecai?
I did.
Didn't you demand from the same man?
I did.
Didn't you order himself to do as you wanted?
He had made a promise. I merely told him the courts would be...
The court?
What's the matter, Father?
Demanded, ordered. The law, my dear boy, what...
It's a funny sort of an education they give you in Cambridge, my lord.
Why should any gentleman fear a coachmaker?
He loves courts, bailiffs, lawyers...
What did he say, my boy?
Before he heard my name, he talked of crushing, of debts and debtors, of calling in.
Oh, a sweet man, ladies. Milk and honey indeed, and merry as a lark when you know him well. I was remarking only the other day, Miss Nugent, what a pleasure it is to see you. It's sunshine and birdsong, so it is.
I've heard, Sir Terence, that a soft tongue is but a part of a similar brain.
If it's about yourself, then me brain is soft.
You were anxious to tell my uncle something, I believe, sir.
Now you see through a man. Beware of such women, Lord Colambre. They unnerve a man so.
Was it about Mordecai?
Good news indeed.
Good news?
I believe I never run so hard as I did the day. To serve a friend, I bought a bargain. A bargain of a bad debt indeed. Whose, you ask? Yours, I answers. And all in time.
Sweet reason, this is not the place, Terry.
Father, it is the place. Go on. What debt was it, Sir Terence?
Mordecai was ready to hang himself when his side got ahead of him. And him ready to bring an execution.
An execution?
Of the law.
Whose execution?
Your uncle's.
No.
Your father, yes indeed. Mordecai says I got the debt and first claim to the payment, so you may go hang. Didn't I get the hint from Paddy Brady, who's not paid for it neither, though he's as poor as a rat? I run to the solicitors in Crutched Friars. Oh, very genteel he was, and taken from his breakfast, which no Englishman likes, it seems.
Please, to the point, sir.
I popped him a sweetener of a draft at 31 days on Garrity the agent. He'll need telling, me lord. We'll raise the wind from him in time.
Garrity in Dublin?
He'll need to get the cash from the rents, then.
He will. They're due after all, and a few shillings added on each will see it done. Sell off a drop of land, maybe. Turn off a peasant or two.
You
Turn
can't.
off? Sell? What are you saying?
You'll not understand Irish matters, my boy.
Sure, the tenants squeal a bit when Garrity gets after them. But needs must. London and society call, after all.
Why should tenants pay for your debts, Father?
Grace, will you please tell me what is going on?
You did well, Terry. I'm grateful to you.
Never fear. Haven't I been at me wits' end since I was a man? I'll take on all the duns of the United Kingdom and back my experience to evade them. Out of back doors, up chimneys, through alleys and dark cellars. Sheriffs and bailiffs are meat and drink to Terence O'Fay at your service, sir.
I fail to understand how you can be in a scrape over money that is the fortune I brought. Let it be a lesson to you, Colambre. A decent portion is the least you'll want to keep appearances. Grace, we've invitations to take, those dresses to collect, my new gloves and the hats. I will not say it is a pleasure to see you, Sir Terence. Good morning.
Father, I want the truth about our affairs, sir. Please.
The truth is simple, my lord.
Terence?
I'll tell Miss Nugent, then. There's some that sell plate and others hide theirs. I've done both in me time. There's others lose their money from spending relatives, and there's little to do about that save smile and snap shut the purse. There's others don't know they're spending money and have no notion where it comes from or goes to. They lose a fortune by ignorance. They put you in debt, hand you over to duns and sharps like Mordecai, and you are innocent when the bailiffs come to arrest your furniture and curtains.
Surely not, Sir Terence.
I bless your pretty eyes. In that case, there's nothing to do but to grin and go to the bridewell with a smile and a clean stock. It's all a game. It's the future kills a man in a present difficulty. Nothing to come in the long run, so nothing to borrow against.
This is a story, of course, my boy.
If you're beating your brains about the affair, Lord Colambre, there is an easy way of settling your family affairs at once. An expedience for life, you could say. I'd hint no more, but between friends, delicacy is impertinent. So in plain English, there's nothing to do but to go and propose yourself just as you stand to where as Miss B.
Enough, sir, for shame. No lady's name, sir, on my honour.
I never saw family honour stand a man in so much stead in a court of law. Never saw family honour stand against an execution, or a custodian, or an injunction even. 'Tis a rare thing, this family honour, and very fine. Yet I never knew it even at a pinch pay for a pair of boots. 'Tis expedience, or raise some rents, turn off some peasants, sell some land. It's only Ireland, is it not? Good morning, Miss Nugent. As always, a pleasure.
Lady Clonbrony's gala evening. But my Lord Colambre watched only one object with pleasure, Grace Nugent. And well he might, as his mother dreamed of Miss Broadhurst and 100,000 in funds, and a clear property of 10,000 per annum in her own right.
Mama, do look! Did you see a tent? In the entrance, a tent! And in the drawing room, a Turkish palace! And across the hall, a pagoda, I declare!
Lady Oranmore, Lady Tancred.
Lady Oranmore, how delighted we are to have you here. So kind of you to come.
An hour, Lady Clonbrony. We have to go on.
Oh, Mama!
I think you will know some people. We have only the best of society, Lady Oranmore. Lady Longhurst is in the Chinese room, and I declare Mrs. Broadhurst was amused to see the Egyptian throne room.
My lord, cousin, you'd best smile, or your mother will be cross again.
I see very little to smile at, Miss Nugent. I envy my good friend at home in Cambridgeshire, I do.
Is Mr. Beryl here yet? He promised to come, you said.
I do not think I shall introduce you. You will smile at him, and... well...
I would smile at any friend of yours.
Colambre, Grace, come now, come along. Did you see Lady Longhurst and Lady Spendforth? Both here. A triumph. And Lady Oranmore come with a plain daughter, Irish of course. Hardly expected to see her, but one has to take pity on the old lady.
Mrs. and Miss Broadhurst.
Come along. I told Mrs. Broadhurst we would be happy to see them in the supper room.
Oh, Mamma, there is no need to.
I merely affect an introduction. I know how shy you young people are. Grace, I think Mrs. Dareville would be happy to see you.
Of course, Aunt. Remember, my lord, she does not bite.
What does the child mean?
Nothing, Mamma.
Lady St. James, may I introduce my son, Colambre?
We have heard a great deal about you, sir. Much of it exaggeration, no doubt. A mother's pride.
My lady, no doubt.
I understand we are to have salmon from your country, Lady Clonbrony.
My country, my lady?
There's precious little we get from Ireland, it seems.
I owe an apology. Had it been in my power to get a good old English fish.
Pray, what is wrong with an Irish salmon that it needs apology?
Nothing comes out of Ireland worth comparing to its English counterpart.
My husband comes out of Ireland, Lady Clonbrony. I hope you do not feel I need to apologize.
And in the salon you find a dining room, like a Versailles hall of mirrors. And Mama, oil jars, quite like Alibaba and the 40 Thieves.
I wonder where she's hidden the boiling oil. Have you seen the hangings in the Alhambra? I swear, Lady Langdale, I saw them last season in Her Grace of Torcaster's ballroom. Indeed you did. Lady Dashford, is your daughter in the press?
We shall leave soon.
Yes, well, there's little but vulgarity to be seen here this evening.
I thought the son looked very interesting.
His father was a fine-looking man, I remember.
I think I was too young.
How unfortunate to fall between the two. I hear your daughter is engaged.
No.
Ah, my lady, see the corners of the Chinese room. I swear those lanterns are in the most appropriate taste. Quite correct. And quite picturesque.
I hope you're well, Mrs. Derville, and enjoying my aunt's hospitality again.
Yes.
Lady Langdale, how good of you to spare the time.
Colambre, bring Miss Broadhurst to the music room. I'm afraid I'm not inclined to music this evening, Lady Clonbrony. Please, my lord, please do not put yourself out for my sake.
My son will be only too happy. Colambre, Grace, Miss Broadhurst always listens to you, and Colambre seems unable to say a word. Persuade her to the inner pagoda where she can be warm and retired. The very thing. Colambre, pioneer the way.
And they pushed through the throng, past the cards in one room and the music in another, past dancing in a long room, and so to a room where prints and chessboards were scattered.
A triumph. Mr. Soho thought this Chinese pagoda my snuggery. Colambre, that little table. Miss Broadhurst, you play chess? Colambre will play.
I thank your ladyship. I know nothing of chess except the moves. Lady Catherine, you will play and I will look on.
Indeed.
And more or less defeated, Lady Clonbrony withdrew and left the young people to gossip and to stare.
Miss Broadhurst, I am sorry.
My lord, your mother is very busy, is she not? My dear friend Miss Nugent warned me of her bustle. Quite exhausting.
I had never thought so before. You are quite right.
Did you know that Miss Jessica, who's marrying next week, told her husband she's only 20, and she's many more years than that?
My mother, dear Catherine, is forever telling me to keep secret the fact that I shall be 24 on the 5th of next July, as if my face did not tell it for me to all who may care.
I'm sure Lord Colambre would never believe it. Do you, my lord?
He can. He does. As firmly as I do. I'd not force his lordship to pay a compliment contrary to his better judgment, or to extort a smile from him under false pretences.
I assure you, Miss Broadhurst.
Oh, wait, sir. No need to dissemble with me, sir. Believe me, I will not think the worst of you for your honesty.
I took in wine to them and found them seated like old friends around the room, talking seriously and looking at old prints.
And see the basket maker.
Lady Clonbrony would have had the vapours indeed.
And the colour, so soft, so gentle. I swear, Lady Catherine, I only wish I could lay aside my fortune sometimes, as well as my diamonds, and discover who would then be my friend.
I am persuaded that you are friends on whom the experiment would make no difference.
I am convinced of it, and that is what makes me tolerably happy, though I have the misfortune to be an heiress.
How odd. I should love to be a great heiress and to have thousands to command.
Hearts, Lady Catherine, are to be won by radiant eyes. Bought hearts are not to be recommended. No wear to 'em at all. Turn 'em which way you will, you can make nothing of them. Hearts are brought to me by the dozen, sworn to be real, and yet on examination are brought by cheats and swindlers perjuring their souls. Oh, bought rank is but a shabby thing.
How well we agree, Miss Broadhurst.
We had best go in, my lord. Your mother will be disappointed if we don't at least dance once together. I think we understand each other well enough.
Indeed.
And they danced once together and delighted Lady Clonbrony's heart, which was instantly broken when Miss Broadhurst asked her mother to keep her promise to leave for home before the supper.
Your friend didn't come, my lord.
You're anxious to meet him?
I believe he and Miss Broadhurst may be known to one another.
Ah, I see. Then we must include him in our outings, Grace.
Which will not please your mother.
Don't. We understand each other, Miss Broadhurst and I. Why does my mother insist on inviting all these people? They sicken me, and I think they sicken your friend.
You did like her.
I liked her mind and her sharp tongue. It's these others.
Make you look like a chafed lion, cousin. Be careful, or others may read your face as I do.
I think none can read my mind as well, dear Grace.
Supper, my lord. Your duty to your neighbour and your hand to your partner, cousin.
And they went their ways. And as he searched for his supper partner, my Lord Colambre was watched by fond eyes. Then his cousin went her way and found her aunt.
Morning, Mr. Whip, sir. And a grand day it is.
Oh, I'd not told my mistress so.
I tell the world and spit in the eye of any man call me a liar. What's the matter with the lady, after the triumph of her gala night?
The vapours, Mr. Brady, the vapours. Wasn't the Alhambra something Mr. Soho passed on to her after it being passed over by every lady of taste in London? And the Chinese pagoda was seen last year? And the Capitol she's insulted to her face by Lady Oranmore, who seems to think that having an Irish husband gives her the right to praise your wet country, my friend.
God bless her for it, then, and to hell with society.
Amen to that, says I. Says my lord and Miss Nugent all.
I'll tell you something for nothing, Mr. Whip. That young rip Colambre had best watch his step about my master.
What's he to Mordecai?
A puppy to be whipped to obedience is what he said to his foreman. A proud dog to be shown his kennel is what he said to his mistress. Pass the word to the young man to be on his guard.
You seem to have taken a shine to the young man.
Isn't he an Irishman himself?
I'll tell him what I can. Hint at it.
Well, particularly as the word is, amongst the betting men, that he's about to make himself a better fish to catch than ever, by netting one of his own, so to speak.
I'm sorry.
By marriage.
Now, bless you, gossip's wrong this time. To think of marriage making a better catch of Lord Colambre. The young thing's got little more than meat to rub together in her pocket. No inheritance worth a spit, no land, no expectations.
She was a blaze of diamonds at the opera the other night. She'd a king's ransom of rubies in her hair and at her throat last night at the gala. She's 10,000 a year at the very least. And there's more...
Who does gossip put at the starting ribbon?
Miss Broadhurst, of course. Who do you think, man?
His sweet cousin is the one.
Oh.
Eyes only for him and him for her when no one of consequence is looking. Believe me, Mr. Brady, Grace Nugent is the one. If he could but see it. Which he may not till too late, of course.
Well. Isn't that the way of things? Love's a funny beast, after all. Don't forget, a word in his ear now. Good morning to you.
Touché. Arthur, I swear you get better since you've been rotting in the country.
And you get duller for doing the season, my friend.
Then I don't understand why you come to London.
My mother insisted she would die if she did not come.
And your father? I hear he was not well.
He is not, but he is here. He watches my mother plunge into the round and counts the cost.
It's the same with my dear mother. Worse, my friend.
Yes?
My mother is determined I'm to be married off to a tiara and a breastplate of diamonds. I'm fighting a rearguard action.
Do we know the girl?
Miss Broadhurst has as little interest in marrying me as I in marrying her. Bright and sharp as a girl can be.
Miss Broadhurst?
Short, reddish hair, bright-eyed, no child.
I know her. Is there anyone in the field for you?
You know Miss Broadhurst?
I came to London only to see her again.
Does she know you?
Not yet, no.
I think we may say that will not be the case much longer, my friend.
I would be indebted, Colambre.
I, too. But I'll be hung if my mother hears a word.
Not a word, I swear it. Tell me about your mistress.
Since we've been in Cambridge, my cousin, companion to my mother and a paragon of everything, has grown up into
spare me. And she is not approved, does not love you, is loved by another.
My friend, if it were so simple. Dear Grace has not a penny. Beyond a small inheritance looked after by my father, she has nothing.
I see.
And my father is desperate short of money, if I read the signs right.
The signs?
He's never at home. He talks of raising the rents of his tenants in Ireland, of selling some land from our estates. He is, I believe, afraid of tradesmen, pretends anger, means fear, and avoids all.
My father exactly. There's a man demanding repayment this very day. A message sent from Mordecai.
Oh, he has his fingers in every gentleman's pocketbook, it seems.
Mamma and my sister swear their lives cannot go on without the season.
Well, we've seen at this gala, that fete, heard at this party and that opera, attend dinner here, a theatre there.
New dresses, new fans, new gloves, new carriages, new muffs and shawls and hats and I don't know what. All my father loves is the country. His land, his old house, his dogs, and a sharp winter morning with the horses.
Exactly. If I hear my name coupled with Miss Broadhurst by the gossips, I will not stay to hear more. I swear I shall leave London and be done with it. But we'll introduce you to society first, my friend.
Lady Clonbrony, I beg you to mind your cards and take your eyes off the children in pity to your partner.
I declare they're quite warming to it, Mrs. Broadhurst. Your dear daughter looks as if she enjoys herself.
Your son's friends, you upset, young man. Good manners. Old manners. I like that in a young man.
My son's manners were taught him in the Old English school, Mrs. Broadhurst.
Oh, I'm sure I do beg your pardon, Mr. Jebb. Lady Clonbrony, you play, I think.
I, dear. Yeah. What are trumps again?
Hearts. Hearts, dear.
You be careful, Arthur. Miss Broadhurst hates the season.
I am indifferent to it, my lord.
Then I think we have something in common. I find it empty.
Oh, I had thought all you young men liked nothing better.
Then you wrong us. Support me, my friend.
I know my cousin to dislike it as much as any man could.
Indeed I do.
Then why not escape it? We women have no choice in the matter. Where our mothers go, we are sure to trail after. You have no need.
Beyond the wish to give our mothers pleasure.
Ah, a hit, my lord. Touché. Grace, did you find that passage in the Arabian Nights we were talking of yesterday?
I swear, Mrs. Broadhurst, I see my niece with the book. Look at them. So ill-bred and downright rude of Colambre. I must give them a hint.
Oh, for mercy's sake, no hints. No hints. See, she reads and he leans over her chair. I never saw a man come so close before. Now, not a word, I beg you.
A little music, at least.
Oh, nothing. I assure you my daughter would often rather go to a book than to a ball.
Extraordinary. What is the world coming to?
I know.
I am not talking of country gentlemen to mean eating and drinking, hunting and shooting and plain ignorance. I am talking of a modern man with some education.
Which you surely have, sir.
We both have, I believe. I would go home tomorrow, if only to see that our cowman's cottage was mended, or the acres of land put down to wheat were being looked after well. Does that sound foolish?
Grace, what do you say?
I say it sounds far from foolish, Sir Arthur. I say it sounds right and
honest, Mr. Beryl.
Oh, would that we could persuade your mother to feel the same, cousin, and go home.
Indeed so.
And while you go to Ireland and Mr. Beryl to Cambridge, I shall inflict myself upon you all turn and turn about. Oh, my lord, I must thank you.
Miss Broadhurst, we are of a mind here, I think. And friends.
Whip! Hey, whip, man! Whip, I say!
Good morning, sir. I didn't see you, sir.
Maybe not, my friend. Or maybe, like your mistress, not want to see an Irish gentleman.
You wrong me, sir. One of my best friends is as Irish as Dublin Porter, sir.
Any news of my lord, your master?
Oh, he's as well as a man can be with a terminal illness, sir.
Terminal?
A leech on his bank book, another on his goods and chattels. That's terminal for any man.
Does the boy do anything to relieve the bleeding, Whip? Has he come to it or not?
If you mean has he come to the question, he balks, sir.
He must be put harder to the fence.
His best friend is also well placed in the field, sir.
Damn, but he must. Or that leech and pox doctor of a moneylender will have them all, and pull us all down.
Gossip says he'll marry the heiress yet. My eyes say all the bets are null and void.
We'll see.
Ireland? Never.
You will recall, Mother, it is my native country.
Having the misfortune to be born in a country should not tie one to it in any sort of way.
I wish to go there. I want to learn about my place, Our estates, our land. It is where we draw our subsistence from, after all.
I shall take it most unkindly if you turn out to be a partisan for Ireland, as Grace is.
Not a partisan. A friend.
How I hate to hear talk of being a friend of this or that country. Be a friend to a friend and friends to their friends.
My lady, I found Irish friends when I had no others, an Irish home when I had no other. My happiest years were under your kind care. I cannot forget that. I hope you would not wish me to.
Heaven forbid, dear sweet Grace. There are few things I would not do if you asked me, child.
Then consider returning.
Save only that. My notion of life is to live here. I cannot live anywhere else. I thank heaven I have some spirit left. You cannot go to Ireland. Colambre, you are deliberately provoking me.
I will not stay in London to have my name brandished about with that of a lady I like as a friend and no more want as a wife than that door. I will not be gossiped over by society.
You have but to ask her.
I have nothing to ask her.
Others have congratulated me on seeing you together so often. They assume
then
that
damn their assumptions. I am not, nor ever shall be, her lover, nor her husband.
Grace, support me. Society expects
I will not oblige society where I cannot oblige you. I'm going to Ireland. Grace.
My lord.
I have to talk to you. Am I right to go?
Right?
There are snares society sets for us, Miss Broadhurst and I. Gossip.
Yes, I've heard it.
And believed it?
We've all heard it, yes. It's everywhere, my lord.
Do you believe it, Grace?
I do not know what to believe.
Do you believe it?
I have no wish to believe it. Is that what you wanted to hear?
It's something. Yes.
And where will you go?
Home.
What are you doing with that trunk, you poxy?
Hey, no need for that. Your master gone ahead, has he? And left you to sort out the mess. Isn't that the way of things?
What do you know of the ways of gentlemen?
Oh, my, it's high and mighty you are, sir. In your stock and boots as such. A prince may look at a king, isn't that the truth? My Lord Colambre gone ahead to the chop house. Dublin's a rackety place for a gentleman's gentleman. For such I take it you are.
I am, and how did you know, my lord?
Sure, the whole of Dublin hears a whisper on the other side of the ocean. And isn't he already settled snug and nice with as good a gentleman as ever breathed? Didn't he send for me to find you and tell you so, Mr. Whip?
Why the devil didn't you say as much at once?
It's not the Irish way of things at all. Come on.
And the swarms of beggars and harpies fell back in front of this ragged-dressed creature as he gave the orders.
Lucky indeed to find you, gentlemen, or I'd have felt myself amongst strangers rather than friends. I drink to you, and thank you for your kindness.
To you, sir.
Come along, sir, you embarrass us.
Do we go to the castle tonight, James?
Colambre has not yet been presented. I think we should go.
The castle?
A ball! All Dublin society will be there.
Such as it is.
As good as any other. As Dublin is better than most. Dublin is something of a change from London. The building's more elegant, the prospect wider.
And every damn day a grand soft day. And it pouring rain down your neck in buckets. I swear it addles the brain. The only trouble for James is that he has to choose between a wife, the army, and Ireland.
We shall see. But London in the season, you may bury for all I care.
I agree with you. And as for Ireland, I intend to see it all.
Indeed, sir.
Sir Peter and Lady McFarlane, Councillor and Mrs. Blake, Captain O'Ryan of the Rifles.
Gods, breath, man. We've got the whole world at his dog here.
'Tis Dublin, man. You'll see here in the castle a fair sprinkling of the new money, perhaps, but you'll find men of an inquiring nature, men and women well-read and with a taste for science and literature.
Women also?
Yes, indeed so.
You seem to favour Dublin above all places, James.
Well, apart from the English who come to mock, to pick holes, to behave with vulgar familiarity, yes, I do. I detest them almost as much as the landowners who spend the time about the skirts of society in London, or Bath, or wherever is fashionable, and spend the money they take out of the pockets of the Irish poor. Ireland has seen enough of them, sir.
My father is one such.
I'm sorry, but the absentee is the bane of the country, my lord, you will see. But now, Dublin society.
My Lord Colambre and Sir James Brooke. Go on, walk in. There's tea, whist and dancing. Negus and blind hockey.
Thank you. This way. Thank you.
Mrs. Rafferty and daughters.
Colambre, you say? Married? Oh, not yet. Some say he came to raise money for a settlement. A beauty, no doubt. A plain girl, they say. A plain girl? We'll see.
Lady Dashford and her daughter, Lady Isabel.
Damn, if I'm not back.
You know the ladies?
They are known, Colambre, to hunt in pairs.
Meet some Irish girls, my friend, is my advice.
No harm in them, sir, beyond the brains. But Lady Dashford and her daughter are another matter.
She is beautiful, however, Lady Isabel.
The outward appearance of a snake may be beautiful, my friend. There were no snakes in Ireland till they came amongst us.
I think you mock us, my lord.
I was not prepared for Dublin society, I assure you.
Yet you know London society. The latest knots and shoes and how to tie this and tie that. Fashion, my lord, in Dublin is small beer besides that.
London is shallow, cheap, a cruel snare and a delusion. What I have seen of Ireland makes me believe I shall never...
Lord, Dublin is not Ireland. No, sir. The girl in blue. See her, my dear? Charming.
Nothing.
Exactly, a butterfly. But he smiles at her, my dear Isabel. Learn from her. We didn't come all this way to wade through Dublin society to lose such a fish, did we?
Against such an innocent, Mamma. The smile, the laughter. No style, no wit. If I can't win there, Mamma, I'm not your daughter.
We'll meet my lord over supper, Isabel. As if by accident. Take time to reel him in, my dear. Take time. My lord? My lord, it is you then. I'm quite astonished to find you in Dublin.
Lady Dashford. Lady Isabel.
My lord, we are over to see friends. We felt the air would be good for dear Isabel.
Not ill, I hope.
Just a little tired from the season. My lord, if you'll excuse us now. We are on the green, number 4. At home to chosen friends only. Isabel, come along. My lord.
Company! Now!
Come along, James. It's a glorious morning. The sun shines. Oh, man. We're riding, remember?
Oh, I forgot. Oh, my head. Oh, I can't ride. I've a parade at 11, I'm sorry.
I sent for breakfast. Kippers, cutlets, and a kidney or two.
Oh, I think a little bread and water. Oh.
Get up, man. It's as soft a pissing wet day as any man saw.
I think our friend is a little the worse for the night.
Oysters. Oysters and porter. A sure cure.
Damn it, man, it works.
I told you so. Well, my lord, what did you make of Dublin society?
There was a girl. There was a girl I danced with, said, She said Dublin is not Ireland. She seemed almost angry with me.
My, what deep discussions you have in the ballroom, my lord.
There's truth in what she said, though, Mac.
You sure it wasn't Lady Isabel? I saw you talking with her over the supper table.
We did warn you, her reputation.
Made by gossips, I've no doubt. I'm surprised you listen to such stuff. She is lovely, isn't she?
The mother or the daughter?
Lady Isabel. Bewitching.
They are a swamp. That lady and her dear Isabel. Any young man with prospects or old man with money will get sucked down by them, believe me.
No fear of that. My heart is engaged, and my hand shall go with my heart or not at all. I have nothing to fear.
Oh, my. Such an innocent.
I don't trifle, sir.
I warn you. It would be Lady Dashwood's sport and Lady Isabel's joy to break your engagement and your mistress's heart. The fairer, the more amiable, the more beloved, the greater the triumph.
I don't believe a beauty like that, so gentle, so...
Retiring? Bewitching is the most just. I lost guineas to one and horses to the other before I extricated myself.
A mistake, surely.
So, go your ways. See her bow and smile and curtsy and hide behind her fan. Watch her lift an eyebrow, drop a lash, turn a shoulder, offer a hand.
Is Mac jealous, James?
One worthless Englishwoman of rank does incalculable mischief in a country like this, let alone two that hunt as a pack.
Sir, have a care.
Beware, my friend. Listen to your heart when it reminds you of your mistress. Listen to what that girl told you. Dublin is not Ireland. See your agent and leave. Go, look at Ireland. And avoid Lady Dashwood and her daughter.
Will he come, Mamma?
Yes, he will. He will begin by detesting me, my dear child. But as it will be worth my while, I shall make him like me.
How, Mamma?
We shall make a party. Go to the country, to the west. You should remember one thing, Isabel.
Mamma?
You are, child, in the sweet line. Remember that sweets cloy. You never heard of anybody living on marmalade, did you?
No, Mamma.
To do you justice, you play Lydia Languish vastly well, but be careful. Keep up the spirit and bustle to carry the plot of the piece.
So what will we do with him? I'll never marry a man and bury myself in Ireland.
You will do as you are told. I shall bend him from Ireland and the Irish. There's a girl in the picture we must destroy first.
Miss Broadhurst has the merit of being rich, Mamma.
If it were her, I'd not be so easy. Poor pretty cousins are no obstacle, though. We'll turn him from the girl, which will be sport indeed. We will play on his love of Ireland, to begin with. Then we'll poison it when we have the mind to. You'll never live here, Belle. Never.
In part one of The Absentee by Maria Edgeworth, Lord Colambre was played by Stephen Ray, Paddy by Billy Boyle, Whip, Ben Onwukwe, Terence O'Fay, James Berwick, Lord Clonbrony by T.P. McKenna, Lady Clonbrony, Francine Mulrooney, Grace Nugent, Anna Healy, Mac, Fraser Carr, Sir James Brooke, David Bannerman, Isabel Dashfort, Daniel Allen, Miss Broadhurst, Emma Gregory, Mrs. Broadhurst, Jenny Howe, Lady Oranmore, Elizabeth Kelly, Mrs. Derville, Oriel Smith, Mordecai, Terence Edmund, and Arthur Beryl by Andrew Wincott. All other parts were played by the company, and both episodes were adapted by Nick McCarty and produced by Claire Grove.